Yes, hi everyone. This is Otis again. So we are back to our fact finding mission and about IGBANKE and a car. So and we've been on this fact finding mission for quite a long time. So we've actually been missing it with our language, a car language, and the English. So for those of us who don't, who are from Igbanke but they don't understand the language, so we'll give the benefit of that for everybody. So again, my name is Otis. So today, I'll have the honor to introduce to you one of our guests today, Dr. Igudia. So I'm going to give him the opportunity to introduce himself to you all. Is what our people say, the son of the soil. So over to you, sir. So
Thank you very much. My name is Osarufin Manuel Igudia.
Okay.
I'm a lecturer in the University of Ibadan. I'm from IGBANKE, and I'm also a publisher. I'm also an editor, and I'm also, in fact, I'm a man of so many parts. I'm also a farmer. I'm from IGBANKE, from Idumodi. I schooled in IGBANKE primary and secondary school before I moved to Obafemi Awolowo University for university education. Then Masters University of Ibadan, back to Obafemi Awolowo where I got my PhD. Then that's the little. Then I've worked for several years in a publishing firm. Then moved to become a lecturer at University of Ibadan. Then I also have my own publishing firm as well, and my farm. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. That's awesome. Really, you have many parts. So I like that. I like that. And
Yes.
you've had him. He's So we are happy and honored to have him today. So we're going to go straight into what we have today. Like I said, it's about the fact-finding mission about the banker. We're trying to understand our history, understand our origin, our culture, so we'll be able to tell our story. So that's why we are here today. So we're going to go into the origin and the historical context. So we want you to tell us about the historical origin of the Igbanke people. We've had the distorted history about ourselves, about Igbanke. So, and from philosopher like you, so we'll be happy to hear from you, so that why that will become part of our fact-finding mission and documentation.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
The history of Igbanke is a very complex one. It is complex in the sense that the different communities in Igbanke, we have about 6 communities that form that town called Igbanke. Now, each of the community came from different source. That is why it's a bit complex. Now, I will also go into our relationship with the Benin, which is even causing the trouble that we have at the moment. Well, let me just first delve into the complex history. The people of Igbanke came from different places, mainly because I think at that time, Igbanke was a kind of a camp for the Bini warriors. Anytime they were going for war, because they conquered the whole southern Nigeria up to River Niger at Asaba. I think it was the River Niger that stopped them from crossing to Igbo land. The other side, the western Nigeria, they conquered the whole part, even up to Lagos. That's why if you get to Lagos, you see some parts of Lagos answering Benin names. And even the king of Lagos, the Oba of Lagos, is Oba. Is the only Yoruba king that bears the name Oba, just because of the relationship with the Benin Empire. Even Ife and the rest, if you read the book written by the Oba of Benin, you will know what I'm saying. So at that time, during the conquest, IGBANKE was used as a base for the military. After fighting, they would come back to IGBANKE. So that made the place a kind of haven for people who were escaping from different parts, who came and settled in different areas. I think the area that was used then was Omolua. That was the area that was used as the base. And the whole IGBANKE indigenes came from different sources. Some came from the east. Most of them came from the east, mainly because that was the closest place to them. Then some came from Weto, some came from Biri, some came with Modi, they said came from Amao, some came from Eastern land and all that. So, but what unites them all? And that's why you see that IGBANKE did not have one, or does not even till now, have one king, due to the complex nature, the way they came together. And we can say that IGBANKE actually came mainly, that's the majority of them, came from the Igbo land. There's no doubt about it. Because some people have claimed that our proximity to the east or to the caste was what made us to speak Ika language. That is not true. Because we know some communities, for instance, if you go to a place like Ogada, you see Ogadi Dmoji, Ogadi Du. They speak different languages, despite the fact that there's no boundary demarcation between them. So, which means that proximity does not mean language capture. They cannot capture. There would have been a wide difference between our own language or dialect and the Agbos. But if you ask me, I would say that if Ika is a language, IGBANKE dialect would have been the central. Because IGBANKE dialect is pure Ika. We are all Ika. And we speak Ika language. There are a lot of things we need to know about language, dialect, and culture. If you read, well, I don't want to go into linguistics. I would have said that there is a very, in fact, there is no, I can say, a very thin difference between language and culture.
Yeah.
If we speak Ika, Ika is our culture. There is no doubt about it, because you cannot separate language and culture. They are one and the same, and they're inexplicably intertwined. And for people to now say that IGBANKE is a Bini community or town, to me, it's absurd. Because the language is Ika, the people are Ika, the culture Ika, everything is Ika. And people who are saying that are trying to say that we are not Agbo. Agbo is a town. Ika is the culture and the language. We are Ika people. And by, if we are to talk of the complex origin itself, we find out that there is no town, no city. In fact, the whole West Africa came from the same source, according to the linguists. We are all called Kwa languages. They say all Kwa languages came from one. But it was intertribal war that separated all of us, that scattered. And after a long while, a language will emerge from the same one source. So that's why you see that in linguistics, the deep structure of all the West African languages are the same. It's only the surface structure. There is, I cannot start explaining deeper surface structure here, but we know that when you say in our language now, Obi Afoka Muso.
Yes.
If a Yoruba man wants to say, you say Inumidun, which is the same structure.
Yeah.
You understand? And if others want to say, they will use the same pattern, which means they all follow the same deep structure, but the surface, the spoken one, is where you have variations. So we want to say that our language tells where we come from. And IGBANKE itself, Ika itself, is a variety, or it's a variation of Igbo language. That's the truth. We are a distant dialect of Igbo language. But the rule of language says that after a while, when a dialect is no longer mutually intelligible, it can become a language of its own. That's why we make bold to say that Ika is a distinct language. So let me pause there.
Yes. Thank you so much for that clarification, because this is very, very important that you you touched on it, because there's been this myth that has been going on where people are saying that, oh, our language has been corrupted. So you made mention from the Benin that our language, from what the stories that has been flying even on the internet, even coming from different set of people saying that our language was corrupted. Thank you for actually making that clarification, because there's no how the language would have been corrupted to the extent that it becomes a domino, a domino language that we
Good.
don't even have a trace of even understanding the Benin language. That is that's very, very
It's not.
important. Yes, yes. So that's very, very important. So now you are talking about that Igbanke. So Igbanke, from what you're saying, Igbanke is a dialect of the Ika language, from the Ika language.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So yes. So now, what are the if you may help us here, this is another to give us another clarification about the what are the prevailing theories or oral tradition regarding the migration of the settlement of Igbanke people?
Just like I said, it's a bit difficult. There are some books that I would have, some people have attempted, but it's still difficult to say. But what we know is that each community, it's difficult for me to say this is where we came from and all that. When I was explaining, if you listen to me very well, I said that the reason we had different OBs, I don't want to use the word enogi,
Yeah.
different OBs, is because we all have different history of migration. So now I have tried to find out, to trace where each of these communities migrated from. But you find out that it is still very complex, because the account you get from one person is different from what you get from another person. Just like the Yorubas, they will say, some said they migrated from Upper Egypt, some said that Odua came from heaven, some said different other stories. So it's a bit, and again, if you say Odua founded Yoruba land and he met people in that land, I wonder where those people came from and all that. Then the Oba opinion also claimed that the Yorubas migrated from Benin. That's Oba Erejowa in his book, which I've read. So what we are trying to say is that because of long history of oral tradition, the actual story of our foundation is still a mirage to us. It's a bit complex, and I'm going to crack the nut very soon, because I've tried to interview elderly people. Some of them will tell you they don't know. Some will tell you, my father said we came from Agbo, and they are all indigenous of Igbanke. Like my own father said his own grandfather came from Agbo.
Okay, this is very okay.
You see that has different sources. People came from different parts of the world. The same thing with Australia. So I think there is no, how can I call it now? There is no problem if we have different sources of origin, but we have to streamline them to find out where each person or each, what do we call them now? Each community came from. So it's still difficult for me to give you the actual origin, because I have up to 10 different accounts from elderly people, and I feel that it is difficult for me to say this is the one I have clicked with. But the issue is that we have to put them. Can you imagine people saying Idumodis came from Biri? Biri and Idumodi, which one is bigger? Biri is not so much bigger. Yeah. Some said they came from Amaho. Amaho that is smaller than the community in Idumodi. Some say that the Akis came from the Igbo land east. I wonder how they crossed the Nigeria and they lost their language when they got to. With time, we streamline and chart one single course and believe that this is the account we want to adopt. I think that's the best we can say.
That's the
Thank
best.
you.
So yeah, so that there's another important point that you touched on, because it's so sometimes I don't know why it's whether it's emotional for us, or we're not ready to actually confront. I mean, the people from Igbanke, we're not actually confronting that. We talked about the Noge and the Eze and the Obi. So there's some research. So from some quarters are saying that, oh, is a Noge. But some researchers saying that, well,
Mm,
the Enoge is
mm,
post-colonial, post-colonial, and Igbanke already existed before then. So, as a philosopher, I also wanted to, from Igbanke, I want us to, because we need to get our stories together, because the issue of Enoge and the issue of Eze and Obi, which
Okay, you
comes
want me
first?
to comment on that?
Yes.
I said that the Obi and Eze, they are actually what started the history of Igbanke. Because when they settled in each communities, their heads were called Obis, the Obi of this Obi. Then Eze, some of them, it's not unified. So what I'm trying to say is that Enoge, Obi were in vogue. Some communities in those days, they started with the formation of the 6 communities that made up what we call Igbanke today. Now, what really happened was that some communities, especially those who came from the east, were those who bear Eze. While those who came from Agbo surrounding area, Ika area, started with Obi.
Okay.
But later, everything was unified to Eze or Obi, whichever. And that's why you see they say the Obi of Aki, the Obi of this and that. Then you now say Obi of Idmodi. But we in Idmodi, we call our king Ezigboje, Eze Igboje.
Igboje. Okay.
And that's where. So you see that the two were, we don't know at what point one was unified, at what point that each of them were bought by different communities. But we know that the two, Ezenyi, Eze, and even if you look at the Ika land, they bear Eze. Then
Yeah.
Obi too, I told you, because of that trace, that link with the Igbos, then
Yes.
that Obi was there, and the people marked by the Beninese. When the Oba of Benin decided to change their status, making Igbanke their own community, that was when that name changed from Obi or Eze to Enoge.
Okay.
And now if you look at Enoge in its entirety, it means a chief. And we have decided right from time, I've been against it, that our kings can't be chiefs. You can't call a king a chief because you appoint a chief. A king is born. Our kings were born, inherited from their own parents.
Yes.
So it is absurd to now call them a chief. So that Enoge is foreign to us. It's not part of our culture. It's not part of our language. It's not part of our literature. The issue is that it was the contact with Benin in the process of just trying to group everybody into one, especially when the state wanted to form a security outfit, making the traditional rulers chief security or security heads of their various cultural groups. That was where Igbanke was annexed to Benin. And although right from time about Benin, because there's a history there. I don't know if you will let me go on with that history.
Yes, go ahead. I want to
We
learn.
were told that one of somebody from Igbonto was maybe one of the servants of Oba of Benin, because I told you the link during the intertribal war, period of a war where Benin was trying to conquer the whole of southern Nigeria. Then they made Igbanke their base. Then one of an indigene of Igbo, became a servant to the king, to the Oba of Benin. And in the process, he impregnated the daughter. And Oba now, because the daughter was involved, banished them to IGBANKE and brought some, what we call them now, guards and orderly, because of the daughter who is a princess. And that was how that link came. And because he had got a link, a trace, a lineage in IGBANKE, then he annexed IGBANKE as part of his territory. This is what I gathered on my own. Now, when he annexed IGBANKE as part of his territory, for many years, he always sent armies to protect the territory. These are, periods of pre-colonial era.
Right.
And that was the beginning of Oba of Benin claiming ownership of IGBANKE as his territory. So we don't know them, we cannot speak their language, and we don't share culture with them. The culture of Igwe festival was imported because he has annexed us and felt their festival should be celebrated in our land. So that's all I will say.
Thank you so much for bringing that, because that's a very bold statement that is coming from you. One of the bold statements that I've ever had since I started actually asking questions, even from IGBANKE. So this question: so why is it that our elders have been running away from telling this story ever since, that we find it hard to actually tell the story? Because in IGBANKE, it's difficult for people from IGBANKE to just, you bring 5 or 10 people from IGBANKE, they're going to say different things. So as part of the historian, so what role would you want the elders and traditional historians to play in preserving the town's original history or story?
Yes. Mind you, the elders you are talking, most of them are illiterate.
Okay.
That is a factor, they don't know. Many of them, they cannot, you will see that their statement could be contradictory. I've got so many contradictory statements on this and that. So we say, this was what my parents told me, this was what I knew, and all that. And you find out that many of them also, especially the educated ones, mostly if they have any plan to become a politician, they have to play the Bini politics. They have to play the Bini politics, because if you look at, it's only IGBANKE community that is a non-Bini or Asian speaking community within that territory. So if you now go and contest, you are likely to lose, because the population of your place cannot account for your success. So you have to play the politics and affiliate yourself with the Benin, so that Benin also could give you more votes and popularity. I remember that time when Hesmo wanted to contest as a senator. He went and he became a chief of the Oba of Benin. And when we were agitating that we're moving to Delta State then, I remember that he said the community should curse us. That they should, let me speak in my,
wow.
That time. Because he knew what he was getting and what he was banking on. Ogbemide also played the politics, because without that politics, he wouldn't have won as governor the time he did. Yeah. So all of them, the educated ones, were just playing politics because of what they want to get. Votes. Because vote is all about number. Election is about number. IGBANKE doesn't have that number. So they had to play that politics to get what they want. But the illiterate ones, you or yourself, most of the things your fathers at home don't know them. So that's why it is difficult, but rather we have to continue, because by the time you interview more people, you can fix things together to say, this is what I feel is the true history. And that's what the kind of things I'm trying to do now. Try to see how I can gather information, then use logic and reasoning to put them together there are two books on IGBANKE. The first one was trying to affiliate IGBANKE to Benin, while the second one was also trying to put IGBANKE as a separate entity, which cannot hold. I was telling them, if we live within the Ika community, we speak Ika, our own dialect of Ika is purer than any other dialect. Then you are now trying to annex us, to Benin, or say we are a lone individual. We are not a part of Ika land. I said, you are shooting yourself in the leg.
Right.
Because you can't win anything. We don't have any rich man in IGBANKE as far as I know.
Yes.
And we don't have any influence, no serious politician, no military, serious high-ranking military officer, whatever. No, my brother, because of that, you really need to go to the side where you belong, not standing alone and just become what Benegidi called Reberebe Riozomo. So that's it.
You just made my day, honestly, because it's been very, very difficult and challenging, when I wouldn't have liked to use this word, because I find even most of us from IGBANKE intellectually dishonest when it comes to this IGBANKE issue.
Yes.
IGBANKE is IGBANKE, IGBANKE is this. And I've had and one of our philosophers also from IGBANKE has also made this clarification that IGBANKE is a dialect. So, which is a subset of that, the Eka language. So then, when I hear people are trying, you made a very, very vital point that that is standing in no position. So you can't just be saying, okay, IGBANKE is IGBANKE, and at the same time, you're still leaking and talking about. So it's just, I don't know, just trying to evade the truth and create your own alternate reality.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah, that's what we're just trying to do, and just like as you said, which is going to take us to nowhere. So
nowhere.
So the better we tell ourselves the truth. Yes, the better we tell ourselves the truth. I think the clearer the journey will become for us. So again, I just have to tell you that I've been enjoying your story about that IGBANKE, and so are there any oral tradition or legend or folk stories that has been passed down? I know that you've been on this journey for a long time now, about the origin of IGBANKE from your own research.
I've not got any, because I've read so many accounts. Benjegidi wrote something, and Professor Benjegidi, and what he wrote, you will find out that he himself was as confused as myself. And that's why he used the word, he said Reberebe syndrome. If you have an elderly person, ask them about Reberebe, you are not here, you are not there, and you are just there. So what really caused him to do that is, from the accounts of different people, you find it difficult to establish where it is. That's why I told you that it is just with time that we would work on having a unified story to tell about our people. I'm trying to put them together. Then we have so many folk tales, folklores that really share identity with the Agbos. The story of the Ogisos in Beku and all that, the Agbos have all of them. The Ikas have all of them. The Mbiris, all the Dumesa, the rest of, what do we call them now? What's this other place now? Owa. All of them have this oral literature. We share the same. It's only that because of the fact that IGBANKE did not move as one body straight to where we are, it is difficult for us to say, okay, this is an account, because if we move from one source, there would have been one main story that we go around.
Yes. Okay. The system got frozen again. So I'm really enjoying this story, and I hope everyone that is watching.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. Okay, just give. No, what I'm saying is just like what I just said. There was this book written by Isaac Asaka. where he traced some of the folklores, folk tales of Igbanke, some of what our people call Ilu Igbanke. He was able to bring some of this in the book. I reviewed the book the day he launched it. And the book is, in fact, it's a powerful weapon. Only that towards the end, he too wanted to play that Benin politics kind of, because he's a lawyer in Benin. But at least there were some things he revealed there. So what I'm saying is, by the time we sit down and bring some of these documents together and trace a cause, I think we have a genuine history and story to tell.
Oh, that's very, very important. And again, what I think all hands should be on deck, because most of these books that like the ones you've talked about, it's not readily available for people, because I think someone actually told me that you've done you've done some work on it. So and why? Yeah. So is there any challenge why this thing is not, why those books are not actually moving? So what I'm saying is that some of these books, some of this research that, especially, I'm glad that we have a lot of academians who are actually working on this, who have that passion about this Igbanke and Eka origins. So the ones that you people have written, why is it that it's not just coming out that we can have access to it? Because there are a lot of people who have been asking me about this thing. Is there any documentation? Even those who have not actually visited the Igbanke have actually saying, "Oh, please, how do we know the history of where our father came from?" And I also met an Igbanke person who is a mixed race. Unfortunately, that the dad passed on, but that passion to actually know more about Igbanke has been in him, and he has told me that he has tried to search for this, he doesn't find it. So, how can we have access to this, that we can actually, now the internet is internet has made the world a global village?
Yeah, what happened is, I think there's the need for most of us to maybe try to create some contents that we could digitize. Like, for instance, the existing books, they are all hard copied books. So I think we should start doing that. I'm a publisher, I am a writer, I've won awards, and I have a book publishing firm. And I think most of us should start digitizing. My company has a website, but maybe I will create just what we call it, it's a subdirectory from my website, where I can also anchor some of these things. Then I will have to partner with some others, like Asaka and the two other people that I know also have content. Let's see how we can publish all this online for people to read. So it's during this national conference of Igbanke General Union that I could see them. So when I get them, we have to sit down and talk. I need soft copies of their work. Then let me just use my website, part of my company's website, to just publish it. Or we could create a blog and use that for that purpose. So I think we will work on it. You are just bringing us to that consciousness now. Yes. So that's what. So it's actually something good that we benefit our people outside.
Yes, and again, if you guys want my my expertise on that, I am a trained e-commerce specialist, and
sure.
I'm a trained e-commerce specialist, and so I've done that at high corporate level. So I'm good at it. So I'm good at it. I'm an e-commerce specialist.
Not only on this Igbanke thing. On my book business, I think you should also we discussed that on a separate platform. But I think what you said is the best. We'll link up with you instead of starting afresh. What I need to do first is let me see how I can package the soft contents. Let me reach agreement with those people. Then if there are some agreement to sign, we'll do that. Then I will link you up. Then let's start something. Because what you are doing, to me, it's very, very nice because this consciousness had never been in anybody's mind. We who try to do it, we just try to do it because we are interested, because it is part of our field, you know. But people like you, I think it will be a very good one for us. I will link you up. I will get all of them, then see how we can get the soft contents of what we have and send them to you. Let's see where we start from.
Yes. That's good. I'm ever ready because we have to tell our story, and I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you because being bold enough and call a spade and call it what it is. So that's
Yes.
what. So I've got quite a different calls and tell me what is the end game, and people, like I said, that some of our people are intellectually dishonest, and I tell them straight that okay. I also tell them okay, the question that you're asking me, where does it take you to? So that's just the thing. I just want to say thank you for actually being part of this fact finding mission. I said the
Thank
goal
you.
should be for every one of us to have a very concerted
Yeah.
story that
Yeah.
our legacy that would leave for people who are behind, that are coming behind us. So thank you so much
Thank you.
for the banker people and the car people. So this is our brother, the son of the soil. The doctor, has a PhD, I think, in philosophy, right? And currently at University of Ibadan. And also, Ali Ben, we say, Ibadan. I'm honored that we have a brother there. Yeah, well, when I had show that Orokotoba. So just so that's why we're bringing all of us together. So we're encouraging every sons and daughters. Let us put us together, and it's part of our community building. So please, I'm appealing to each and every one of us. So thank you so much, sir. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate. Thank you for giving us this your time today. I know that
Thank you
you
very
have a very
much.
tight schedule. So would you have anything to tell other historians and all the naysayers who actually are just trying to myth this movement or this fact finding mission?
What I will have to tell them is, according to Madame Fodio, he said, conscience is an open wound. Only truth can heal.
Wow, that's great.
Now, if we are trying to just play politics with our own history, truth will bring it out, whichever way we look at it. I'm telling them, let's be honest with the truth.
Truth.
Let's not have a distorted history. Let's work together as one and chart a common cause. I think that's the only way we can succeed. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, all our viewers all over the
Thank
world,
you.
all the banker sons and daughters, all the car sons and daughters. So, we thank you guys for watching. So, and finally, if they want to reach you, how would people get to you? If people want to probably learn more.
Well, if you take the directory of Investor of Ibadan, you get me, or my email is osaroigudia@gmail.com. Then I also, my phone number, you have it, is there. And which other one? I think that's all. There are other
That's all.
platforms I belong. I also have Facebook account. You can always search my name there. You get me on Facebook. So
So your email is osaroigudia@gmail.com, right?
yes.
Okay. So we'll
As
put
one word, to
information.
Sarah Gudia, all lowercase.
Okay, so we'll put that under the below so that people who want to reach out to you and your Facebook profile, so they can actually reach out to you. So thank you again
Thank you.
for coming, for
Thank
taking out the
you.
time. I really appreciate
Thank
that. So
you.
yeah,
All right.
so yeah, thank
Bye.
you.